I think
Alive.
Hey,
oh, what's going on Facebook? You are back with us for another episode of Y'all Not Ready for That Conversation. My name is Lawrence. You guys.
so my name's Chris.
My name is Jeff. No, just joking. I'm Ariel.
Don't worry. We'll get tight. It's only episode 8. So so we'll tighten that up. Um so yeah, we want to thank you guys for tuning in. Definitely share the link with a friend. The link for this video, and then also share our page. if you haven't liked if you haven't liked our Facebook page, go ahead and like that, and you know,
Smash that like button.
yeah, help us out. That's how you support us.
Banger,
Um,
banger.
Banger, banger, banger.
Banging episodes every
Pew,
week.
pew, pew, pew.
Pow, pow, pow. Gunshots. If you didn't know, that's what that was. Um, but yeah, tonight we're talking about community impact. Um, all day. I know I'm not the only one that's seen it, but all day, like every social media platform that I've gone to, it's been register to vote here. Click this link to learn about voting. Click this link to see who's running for something in your neck of the woods, and watch this ad about voting for this person. Watch this ad about voting for that person,
Right.
and that along with some of the conversation that we had last week with Pastor Rob Connolly, shout out to him.
Hey, Pastor
Um,
Rob.
yeah, it made me kind of think about community engagement. For us as individuals, and then also for us as believers, like as the church. What that looks like. How has that looked in the past, and what can it look like in the future? Um, so yeah, I kind of just want to start there. What were your initial thoughts on like social media highlighting voter registration today?
So I'll say I get it, but it was irritating. Like I think I wrote a post. I was like, listen, how do I tell all my social medias that I'm already registered to vote? Like I'm a I'm a reasonably grown, responsible adult who's been voting since he's been 18. I I don't. I wish I wish there was an option to exit out, and there kind of was, but it came back every time.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, or at least if there's an option to say, hey, I'm registered. Thank you very much. Move on. It was so irritating though. Like it was kind of irritating. It was a little bit overkill.
Yeah. What about you, Ariel?
um, I thought it was inevitable. Like everything is on social media now. So for them not to go overboard on social media, I think it would be because
Hold on, I missed that last part of what you said.
oh, I said if they didn't go on social media, they would have been missing a really big opportunity. But
Yeah.
other than that, I think the way they're doing it is getting on my nerves. Like the fact that you can be watching a video and then the next thing you know, you just see like, oh, and it's like, come on, guys, like half the video and you're just trying to look over it because the whole process is saying, this many people have now registered to vote. Good for them. I'm glad.
Thank
I'm
Yeah.
you.
in the middle of watching something. Like,
And they probably all just turned 18. Like
that, or like if I see zero Joe Biden tweets pop up in the middle of like my next like mythical beast video that I'm watching, I'm like, I want to see a fiddle pizza. Like I don't care about what Biden thinks. Like, do it pizza.
yeah,
Like,
right. I want to see them putting things in things. Coffee edition.
Exactly.
Like that, you actually reminded me. Like I wasn't even thinking about YouTube. Even though YouTube is kind of right there along with everyone else. Like YouTube's right there with Facebook and Twitter and all them with the ads and things. I mean, I've seen ads for I've seen Joe Biden ads that I haven't seen. Well, have of course the new ads, but I guess some stuff I didn't expect. Like one of his ads was a bunch of black dudes sitting in a barbershop talking, and I was like, okay, I get it.
Pander.
I get it.
Pander.
Yeah.
Pander.
But then also, so like along with the social media sites doing it, they've encouraged the influencers on those sites to do it as well. You know, and it's been kind of funny to me to see on Instagram, you know, girls just posting pictures of themselves.
Right.
You know, nothing crazy, you know, nothing crazy, but just a selfie. And then it's like, have you registered to vote yet? Let me tell you how to vote. And it's like, wait a minute, what? What does your cap? But then again, that's nothing new.
It's not.
Because
They'd be doing the same thing where like it'd be like that picture and like a Bible scripture, and you're like,
exactly. That's why I stopped myself for a second. I was like, wait a minute, we've been here before. Mm-hmm. We've seen this. We know what it is. But yeah, like it's just like a part of me is like, all right, it's cool because it is important, you know. And like Chris, how you were just saying, like you've been voting since you were 18. I was not voting when I was 18. I mean, I registered. I've been registered since I was 18. I want to say I voted once or twice for a presidential election. Maybe not that same year. I don't remember what year it was off the top of my head. But I maybe voted once or twice, and then I just stopped, like for maybe a good 10 years. Like I didn't vote for anything, you know, because I was like a lot of other people where I just felt like it wasn't, you know, like I was like, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like they're going to keep putting who they want in there. I was that guy, you know what I'm saying, that talked like that. I still registered. I still kept my registration up because, you know, it would be more so like the day of, I'd be like, nah, I'm good. I'm not going, you know. And it wasn't until maybe sometime maybe 2012, around then. I don't even remember what was going on in 2012, but I think it might have been around that time when I was like, you know what, let me go ahead and get back out here and do my civic duty.
I think that was Obama's second term.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah,
because I think his first term was 2008.
Yep.
Yeah, I was still in Florida at that time, and I don't remember going anywhere to vote when I lived in Florida. But yeah, so 2012 is when I kind of turned it around and got back into it.
I've only not voted once, and that was this month.
Oh, the last one. Yeah.
Now, for anybody who's watching who is going to crucify me, I did not vote because I didn't want to. I was sick the day of the primaries, and I didn't have the like mail in your ballot thing filled out. So to keep everybody safe, I stayed home because I didn't know what was going on with me. Turns out it was just allergies and a cold, but
yeah, respect.
Safety. That's the only time I haven't voted.
Respect that.
Yeah, I didn't want to be that one like, can I? Cast
Right.
my ballot.
Legit, like we waited to the very last minute to put our ballot. We had the mail-in joint.
Mhm.
We ended up like waiting too long, so I had to like go to City Hall and like put it in the little box thing because we didn't mail it in on time.
Oh, you went and dropped it off yourself?
Yeah, that's procrastination for you.
Yeah, I don't even know what happened to my mail-in ballot. It's right up the street, so I just went and did it, and there was hardly anyone there, so I preferred it that way anyway.
Pretty much.
Mask I decided to use though, that one had me breathing all kinds of crazy, and the whole the whole like I could partially understand why some people complain about wearing a mask, saying that they can't breathe, because for me, I know half of it was my weight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like breathing sometimes is just what it is for me. And then, but the other half was like the mask was just, I don't even know. And it was just a regular cotton mask. I just couldn't really breathe properly. And
Yeah,
I kept wanting to like take it down from my face and just, but then I was like, I'm around all these old people.
air, you need air.
Yeah, yo. As soon as I stepped out the door, I ripped that thing off my face and I went on about my business.
That's the thing. So it's like a lot of masks. Like, all right, it does suck wearing it at times. Like, I mean, I work in a hospital. I gotta wear 8 hours a day,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes it sucks. Like today, I don't know what brand of mask we used, but like I think it had like particles that like came off, and I was like breathing them in. So
Oh
like,
man.
so now I'm sneezing, and it's just like, all right, now I'm having a sneezing fit in the mask, and that looks bad. And it's like I'm breathing in regurgitated sneeze air,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
kind of gross. And now the mask is wet, and that's even more gross. So now I gotta change. It was all bad.
That's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um,
Like like having a wet mask on your face is really awful.
especially when you know it came from your nose.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty much.
that's a whole thing. That's a whole thing right there.
Yeah.
Uh, so so one thing that I was just thinking of when we were talking about the influencers, posting about registering, and I've even seen a few different websites that explain how to register and where to go to register for your state. There's even a bunch of um, sites that help you to know who's running for different things, what they're running for, and things like that. And this is all dope. Like it's all important.
Right.
But even though when we were talking before we actually went live, like this was kind of on the list anyway, it kind of led me right to this next point of how it was in the church, coming to church on Sunday during an election cycle, and then you got the local comptroller or whatever coming through, and then I don't know what a comptroller is, but he was at church.
What does a comptroller do?
I don't know. He comes to church and tries to get votes for himself.
Like, we had the governor at the time come to our church during I want to say it was an MLK service, and it was weird.
Yeah, it usually is weird when they come
It's
through.
Back in the
like,
day, it used to always be the mayor.
hmm,
Like he would come through, or the city councilors always would come through.
Yeah,
Like um, Yancey stayed coming through.
oh yeah,
yeah,
Like
Charles
always,
Yancey. Yeah.
yeah. Yancey
yeah.
stayed coming through. Um, Diane Wilkerson used to come through
Okay.
um, a lot. Like, and then the randoms that you're like, who are
Right.
you?
Who are you?
The comptrollers.
The yep.
and like the neighborhood treasurers, you're like, you just treasure that one street, huh? Okay.
Treasure the streets.
So yeah,
But yeah, like so it was so like kind of seeing that on a similar thing, like it was always funny to me because it was like just how Chris was saying about the Joe Biden commercials being pandering, like that was the same thing. It's as far as I was concerned, you know. It's like, fam, we're here every week.
mm-hmm. I mean, it's definitely pander vibes. It's definitely like I think, but so I think too a lot of these politicians kind of take it back to like where like in the '60s civil rights, where like the church was kind of the center of like the black voice, especially politically. It was like you went to church, it's where you got your news, where you got your updates and whatnot. Especially if you were organizing and if you were about any type of movement, a lot of those things started in church. So I think that type of like go to the church people and kind of get their vote that way just stuck around.
And also, that's where most of your senior population still is. Like, if you want to catch a majority of the Black senior citizens, you just might as well go to a church service on Sunday. You hit any of them, and you got majority of them. So.
Yeah, that's true. Cause they be voting. Yeah, they get out there. They go out and get it.
I wanted to be like that's kind of just how they get out, but
not sadly, I believe that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them like they really don't have nothing else to do. I remember working at the Kroc Center and we were doing like a senior program. I think it started like 9 a.m. or something like that on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And like when they heard about it, dog, they was coming in droves. You know what I'm saying? Like they was coming in. I think it was like 60. I mean, was it 60 and older or was it 65?
I think it was 60 because some of them I was like, "You're here."
Yeah.
Some of them didn't seem that old, so I think it was like 60. But the like even for swim lessons or like their swim classes and stuff, like 7 a.m. on a Tuesday, these people were lined up.
It's the same way. It's the same way it is with like Christian entertainment things. It's never there. So like when something pop up, it's like Thriller in that piece. Everybody pop up out of the woodwork.
Yeah.
I just pictured like old people doing the zombie dances, you know,
with their canes.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you guys kind of see that? See what that was back then is kind of like the same as we're kind of seeing now with the influencers. Like that's where the people are, you know. So let's just kind of bring the message on to them.
I mean, so like it's weird, right? Because like so now they're trying to go where the people are. They're trying to like you got Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, popping up in versus battles, like saying what up to people. Like I think a lot of it is an overreach.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think they're trying to get to where the people are at and try to be like visible, where at least like what they want their demographic to be where they're at.
Yeah. Or even how and most of this is because of how Charlene feels about politics, but like even how all of the candidates will be on the Breakfast Club, like that's a complete change from how the Breakfast Club used to be. So that's now it's like if you want to find out who's running and what they're running for, you can just turn on the Breakfast Club because Charlene's gonna have them on. And if they refuse the Breakfast Club, like that's a thing. Like you don't want to come where we are, okay? I'm
cool. Right. 'Cause they even had like Republican guests on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to remember who some of the Republican guests were, but I can't
I know,
think of too many of them.
I know specifically. I think it was one guy from Jersey running for like Congress or something like that.
Hmm.
And then I don't remember who else it was, but it's been a couple. Yeah.
So, do you think now? So, like Ariel was saying a little earlier about, if you want to catch the older people, if the politicians want to catch the older people who were doing most of the voting back then, like they would have to come to church. Do you think it's still valuable for them to do it now, when we have a lot more people, even older people, not going to church anymore?
I mean, right now during COVID, I think it's a whole other situation. You got If you got Joe Biden popping up in your Zoom, you lit.
That is. I wasn't talking about now, but I guess now is now. So it's like, so when I can't say when we get back to normal because normal changes all the time. But like when we start getting back to meeting in person without having to go to Eventbrite to get a ticket for your Sunday service, um, like do you think that's something that should continue?
um, I mean, I guess it depends. Like, if your particular church is up to it and they find value in it, then yeah, fine. I think like I think oftentimes, right? You know, it's a quid pro situation where they're trying to like gain something. So
Yeah,
if you're up to that and you understand it and you're okay with that, then it is what it is. I think in the case of when the governor at the time, this is Mitt Romney, not even like right. So this is Mitt Romney at the time wants to come to our service, and he asked a whole bunch of like, oh, he wants to speak, he wants to bring cameras in, he wants to do. We said no to all of that. It's like that's not what this is for, fam. And like, cool. If you want to get your photo op, like they can take pictures of you coming in and take pictures of you coming out. After that, ain't nothing going on inside this church.
yeah, yeah. I
So
respect that.
yeah, so it's like, but if you know your church says, hey, like we're okay with that, we want our candidates to come and speak and share their platform, then that's a thing too. Like it all depends on what your particular house values.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know y'all's church is more active in the community than I'll say a lot of other churches that I've seen. Not saying that I've been making a list and checking it twice or anything like that,
Right.
but been in church my whole life, so I've seen a few different places.
You can tell
Um,
people about it.
what'd you say?
So you can tell people about it.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So, well, Aria, were you about to say something?
No.
So with y'all's church being more active with social issues like that, um, has there been anything that you guys have done regularly, like surrounding elections and voting and things like that, or?
Uh, yeah. Well, more than just elections. Um, like we've had our social justice corner that we would do, and talking about what's going on. So more than just um election time, but making sure that people are abreast of what's going on in the world, outside of the four walls, and making sure that people know, whether it's like resources that people need or anything like that, like trying to make sure that we're getting the word out about that on a regular basis. Shout out to Shamika. She is the social justice champion at our church. And whenever possible, like she'll also make sure that we have all the information. Recently, for this year, for this election, um, she's made it her business to make sure that from her own end, like sharing her journey of learning about who's actually on the ballot and what's on the ballot, and sharing her process so that people can see how to do it from like a firsthand perspective, and then mimic what she's doing. So now that she's looking at her area, all the different people sharing what they're about, how she's reached out to them, what was the response, all those different things. That all plays a part into how our community is affected, because since she will normally share stuff in our our church, um, like communal board and different things like that. So no one can say with a whole heart that no one has ever said anything, because we have people who are making sure that people are aware of what's going on.
And I think even in this year, well, last year to this year, we made social issues more of a priority. I think it's funny because it started with uh, we tackled for a little bit sexual abuse and that whole thing. So we made those things kind of a priority in the forefront. I mean, it turned into like mental health, and it turned into like this social justice situation. But I
Mm-hmm.
think understanding, I think like at least, well, I know for a fact our church understands that social justice is a part of spreading the gospel. It is a part of uh, Christianity. It is an active part of what God has called us to do and who God has called us to be as His children. And
Hmm.
so I think that we've in recent years taken that super serious, and I think that is because of people like Shamika and others who have always kind of just said, "Hey, what are we doing? Hey, what are we doing?" And a lot of the community work that we've done.
Yeah, that's real good. It's always been dope to visit, you guys, like y'all's events and things like that, where you're actually engaging with the community and letting your presence in your city be known. Um, have you guys, and you may or may not know the answer to this question, but I'm asking anyway. Have you guys ever, or I should say, has your church ever gotten into not so much trouble, but have you gotten any feedback from someone that disagrees with you all talking about these issues? Like the people that will run up and say, separation of church and state um, over everything.
Huh. So it's so okay. So I'll phrase it like this. I don't know that we haven't per se that I can recall gotten in trouble for speaking on political issues.
Hmm.
Do get complaints when we're out in the community doing stuff. That's kind of constant. Like, well, up until this year, we've held I think since 2000, we've done our annual back to school event, turned into a court fair. Every year, we have a noise complaint.
Hmm.
Now, mind you, we're in this park from noon to 5 p.m.
Yeah.
Like, if we're disturbing you, you have to get like it's noon to 5 p.m. max every year. So,
Up the street from Central Square.
up the street from Central
Yeah.
Square, and then you get people who, so now the building itself is uh, 100 some odd years old, right? The building. So it's always been a church right there.
Yeah.
But now we have like new development and people moving into the space. And then when they hear a Pentecostal / non-denominational church service turn up, get a little bit, so it's that type of thing. It's like
Yeah.
in Cambridge, well, since we're in the city of Cambridge, for those who don't know, Cambridge is a very, very secular city.
Hmm.
Very, very secular city. So I think a lot of the things does come from uh, we don't want these church people here for real. Um, we have to get permits to like do certain things with the city and in the city. So like for like the parks and services or whatever, we have to like do things a certain way because of neighbors and because separation of church and state, and there are just ways you got to move, right? So it's never been like a political situation, but it has been we're a church and we're making noise and we're in the community and we're visible, and I think that has been an issue to some people.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that. Um, yeah. I was just thinking about people moving in on a Monday thinking it's all nice and quiet.
Hmm.
Then that following Sunday, they're woken up early in the
Yeah,
morning
or that
to
Friday night,
Yeah, I
or
was
that
like, or
Saturday,
Friday, or Saturday.
do a Thursday rehearsal if you need to.
Hmm.
Yeah. So all right. So I guess that can kind of take us into like I guess the meat and potatoes of the conversation. You know, because in talking about, or I should say, in bringing up, voting and the elections that are coming up, and everyone focusing on, or most people focusing on the presidential election, which is important. Excuse me. A lot of times, people will not stress or not put emphasis on local elections, which are just as important, if not more important. Um, and then also they'll neglect um, opportunities to serve in their community outside of a church.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Not everyone, um, not everyone has to uh, attend a church that's engaged in the community for them to be able to engage the community as well. You know, and I guess I'll start with you guys. Chris, you brought up the what was it the
Port Fair.
port fair.
Oh yeah, Port Fair.
Last year was the first year that it was called that, right?
No.
2 years ago,
Okay,
or 2 or 3 years ago.
okay.
I get them all mixed up at this point. Like,
I think
Yeah, I
it's
just
been.
remember it as a backpack drive.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't have even remembered that it was port anything if you didn't just say it. But yes, I guess I'll start here. What are some of the positive things that you guys have experienced putting on an event like that, and especially with you, Chris, having been a part of it for longer than Ariel?
I mean, like there's a visible impact in the community.
Hmm.
Like it's visible. Like literally every year around that time, people like they'll see one of us in the street. They'll see someone like around the church, and they'll ask us, "Are y'all doing that thing this year?" Like they don't care what it's called. They don't care. They just know we got food. We give out backpacks. Some like years past, we've had like crazy music situations, and then like now we turned it into like rides and stuff. So every year it's something like nuts. So it's one of those.
Wait, so is it in the same park that you guys did it before, or
Yeah,
did y'all go?
Yeah.
it's in the same park.
Y'all had enough space for rats?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We did like some teacup situations.
What?
Ferris wheel
We did a Ferris
this
wheel.
past year.
Yeah, we
That's
went
crazy.
nuts.
Yeah. There was the what was it? The like bouncy house like thing, but it's a like maze or
Yeah,
like a
like
race.
Yeah,
We had that
yeah.
this past
I have
year.
no idea what you're talking about.
It's like an
Y'all got
inflatable.
fancy.
Yo, it's like an inflatable obstacle course. Like
Yeah.
legit.
Oh, okay. I think I know
Yeah.
what you're talking
We've had the joint in the past years where like it's a bouncy house, but it's Velcro, so you can like stick people to the walls and all that.
about.
We used to go nuts, and and especially and that's the thing too. I think what people complained the most about was the music, but we went nuts on music too. Like we brought in everybody.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, all that to say, like I think the impact was very real. I mean, people also, because we had like food. People all come from all over to get like a plate and get some food because we got every Caribbean uh, person kind of displayed at our church. Everybody, so everyone's making their plates and everyone's getting their food, and so people came for that. But I think the impact of like what we were doing, and then have the city try to like replicate it, kind of.
Oh wow.
And, and then to them just being like, y'all handle this. And then like and then like again, and so that's for us where the politicians came. Like the mayor would come, city councilors, like that's where they would pop up. You see family, you see kids, you see this thing popping up every year. You're popping up.
Yeah, that's true. Ariel, what about you? What kind of what are some of the things that you've seen since being a part of it?
Um, kind of caught me off guard. I was like, Chris done said everything, but it's actually interesting because I've like when looking back at my life, like I've been to more of the festivals than I've actually been a member at the church.
Mm-hmm.
I actually first when they first started, like back in the day, Elder White used to sing at them. And I
Oh
would
yeah,
go
that's right.
with him and
I
sing
forgot you
at
told me
them.
about that.
Yeah. So it's like I've actually sang at one of these way before ever knowing that I was gonna be a member of the church. So I always
Mm-hmm.
think that's pretty cool. And like remembering what it was like back then and remembering, the feeling that I had being somebody who wasn't a member first and seeing how like the love and care and resources and everything, like it was genuine. And you like I'll never forget you had the senior mothers sitting at the information table, like, and they had all you needed information about healthcare, whatever. Like there was something there. If you need to find out about health insurance, something, like you're gonna get that information. You're gonna get a nice little goodie bag and with a frisbee sometimes, or random little things that they would have. And um just like paying attention to that and seeing how like well done it was, to then switching to becoming a member of the church and being a part of the production of it, and like
Mm-hmm.
now seeing the other side and seeing like the amount of like care that goes into the day and putting it on and really thinking through what is best for our community, what is best for the people that we are serving, who's in the community, and taking a look at that, because I think that's really, really important. And I thought that that was really good because I know a lot of times um, people will put on events
Mm-hmm.
and just basically like, you get what we give you and you should be glad about it because we're doing something for you, like. And that's not impact, that's not serving. Like having that servant's heart of knowing like, all right, we're gonna break down and know what type of families are in this community, what type of people are in this community. We have people who are of all different religions, so we want to make sure that we're being respectful of them as well if we're saying we're
Mm-hmm.
serving. Because I'm not just going to say, all right, this is an event to serve the community, but we're going to just do it like this because we're Christians and we're not even
Right.
going to think about you, and we're not going to pay attention to maybe, you know, you need halal food or something that you would like to eat as well. Like those little things that I think is really like that was really impacting for me.
Yeah, I know for myself, um, even in times when I would, you know, visit y'all's back to school event and just being a part of it because like I wasn't a member. I've never been a member of your church, but a lot of times because of you, Chris, really, I have so many friends over there. Like I kind of just come in and I can just fall in line with everybody else. Like I haven't been to any planning meetings. I don't know what y'all got going on. I know everyone has a place, but sometimes I can just come through and be like, all right, well, you need me, you know, and have a chance to, you know, participate in stuff like that. Like just in general, I love doing stuff like that. Like, and you both have done stuff at my church as well, Holy Tab, where Ariel grew up. Chris, you're always there whenever we're doing something outside, usually helping with the sound and audio and stuff like that. And it's just another level of I don't even know, like it's just another feeling that you get when you're serving the community that you're a part of.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you're letting people know, like, we're not just here for you to come find us. Like, we're here, you know, to serve you. You know, you may not feel comfortable always coming to us, and we may not always be able to come to you. But at least for at this moment right here, at least at this time, usually at least once or twice a year, like we're gonna be here to reconnect. You know what I'm saying? As much as possible, and for as long as it takes, like you're gonna see that we actually do care. So when you're ready to join us, we're here. But even if you're not ready, we're still here. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
Um,
so I think
mhm,
like the biggest mistake the church can do is not be present in the community. Because I'm like, so the scripture teaches us to go and make disciples, not
yeah,
bring people in to disciple them. You go to where all the potential disciples are, and you go make disciples. Like we're
yeah,
not, you know, yes, we have our four walls and it's nice, but we're called to be out and doing stuff. You know what I mean? The early church was moving around. They were out. They were going from home to home. They were out and they're out gathering. They were doing things like that's essentially what we're called to do. So I
yeah,
think it's a really big mistake. Like if the community that you're in isn't impacted in the least by you not being there, then you you didn't serve anyone. You didn't help anyone.
Yeah. I think
yeah,
of it like, you know, we sing a lot, I'm a soldier in the army of the Lord. But if you think about the army,
Hmm.
soldiers are only in the base to get their commands or to get rest or something like that.
Man,
But after that, they are out on the field because that's where the battle is. Like, you know, if they were like, all right, we're going to stay in home base and wait for the enemy to come here.
right?
And when they get here, oh boy, we got something for them. Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
like that's not how it works. You know, we're not saying that, you know, we're trying to go out and bust up a whole bunch of people, but if we are saying that, you know, is a war going on for people's souls and all these other kind of different things, then we need to be out there, you know, doing what we can to save all the civilians that we can. And so what does that mean? That means helping to impact our neighborhoods. And for Massachusetts alone, we have methanol mile that's getting atrocious, getting really
yeah,
bad. But what are we doing about it? Are we just saying, oh man, Mr. Crack Man, put the crack down? Like, what is that really gonna do? If you're not, if somebody's not tasked, again, thinking about the army, not everybody has the same job in the army. So
Hmm.
if you're not, um, and I guess like for community impact, I'll say this, like learning your place in the community, like your place, so
Right.
that you can impact the community.
mhm,
Because sneakers can't do anything for cold hands. So you need to learn where you got to be so that you can make an impact. And so I know a lot of times, like you were saying, Lawrence, about like the condemning and how sometimes people will give kickback. I think that kickback and that condemnation comes from them not knowing their place or not knowing
Mm.
where they belong. And so just because your role might be to stand outside and give somebody a track, that doesn't mean that that's everybody's job. And that's how everybody should do it.
Right.
And so, um, I know for myself, I spent a year helping in a campaign, like actually helping with a campaign and going
Yeah.
door to door and making calls and doing all of these things. And that had nothing to do with the church, but it was the church that taught me how to go out and speak to people and get, find out that commonality that I have with somebody and understanding, okay, if I'm trying to introduce this candidate to you, I need to get to know you and what's going on with you so that I can then tell you how this candidate will help you. Because the one thing that I can't stand, like above all else, is like, and going back to what we talked about at the beginning, like, is just this flooding of information of this is why you should vote for me, but what are you going to do for me for that vote?
Yeah.
Why should I vote for you? Because you look pretty? No, thank you. What is it
Because you wear
that?
some Tims.
Yeah, exactly. Like, other than all this foolish, like,
It wasn't even the
pandering.
fresh Tims though.
And not even the little Tims, man. Those are the Burlington Coat Factories.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh no, yeah.
Those are the tugs.
Right.
Oh, what was it? Mountain
Sorry.
Leaders. Yep.
She's rocking the mountain gear.
But
The rugged outbacks.
like, instead of that, like, if we want to go back to Kamala, God bless her, like how everyone was bringing up the fact of like, but when you did serve us, this is what you did. Like, how
Yeah.
is it going to be any different? Tell me how it's going to be different this time around. And if I put my trust in you, because me putting that check next to your name is me putting my trust in you when I put it in the ballot box, how are you going to ensure me that I'm putting my trust in the right place?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not just because I just don't want Donald Trump. Like,
Exactly.
like fine, we don't want him, but not wanting him is that as powerful as me wanting you?
Mm.
Yep. And so
Yeah.
that's why I think that it's important to understand going back to being these like community members and leaders in the community, because if we are Christians, we should be leaders in something. We should be, if not anything else, leading people to Christ. So,
Yeah.
if we are these leaders in our community and we're lights in our community, then we should be doing what we can to point people in the right direction, like making some kind of like giving some benefit where we can. And that, again, that goes back to finding your place, finding where you belong. What is it that you are called to do in the community? Because we all have something that we can do.
Right.
Yeah. You made me think of two different things when you were talking. One of them is going back to the importance of voting in local elections, as well as for president. Because, and I actually heard this recently from someone online. I don't remember where exactly it was, so I apologize for not being able to give credit. But they were talking about how, they were just basically explaining how the president doesn't have all the power that we think he has. You know what I'm saying? And
Checks
just to
and
kind of,
balances, my friend.
yeah,
Checks
like,
and
and
balances.
just to kind of parallel it, like the quarterback on a football team usually gets the praise or the pouts, whether he wins or loses, but he's not the only one on the field.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? If his offensive line can't defend him, then he can't do his job.
Right.
if the running backs or the halfbacks and fullbacks and whoever else aren't doing their jobs, he's still going to get blamed for it because he's considered the leader of the team.
Or
in the
if he
same
does
way,
nothing, and the kicker wins the game.
Yeah, yeah. We've seen that up here plenty of times, where we we had before Brady became the best quarterback in history, we had the best kicker in history.
Yeah.
In Vinatieri.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And yeah, he would be like, "Oh man, game-winning kick. Hey, that's great. Congratulations." But you, sir,
Right. But
you
Brady.
led this team. But it's the same way. Like, it's like, yeah, you can vote whoever you want into that presidential position, but his or her success completely is determined by who's around him, who's in Congress,
Right.
who's in the Senate. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they make all the other decisions that trickle down into everything else. Like, sometimes I'll look at some of these Congress people and just think to myself, like, how is it possible that this person has been able to hold on to this seat for so long?
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, us as Black people, like, we're kind of experiencing like a renaissance, so to speak, in politics for us, where we have way more representation than I've ever seen in my life. But at the same time, there's still a lot of us that aren't voting. Which, to rewind, it takes me back to 2012 when I wasn't voting, and that's when I realized, like, wait, even though yes, I have the freedom to not vote, I'm still a part of the problem.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because I was like a lot of other people, I was only focusing on the president. I wasn't focusing on the other stuff that was going on, in the city and in the state. And then that's when I kind of looked at it and I was like, wait a minute, all these other people are the ones that determine what actually goes on. Like, yeah, the president can write an executive order, he can veto some stuff, but that stuff can still be changed.
Yeah.
It might have to rock for a little while, but it still has to be changed, and it can be changed by people that aren't bound to a 4-year deal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These dudes, like, some of these dudes are in their 80s.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I saw a video where they were talking about TikTok being banned.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, I have my personal feelings about that. I have TikTok on my phone. I haven't put up any videos. I'm not doing any dances, but there are a lot of dope artists and a lot of dope creators that are on TikTok that are doing some dope stuff. But whether I agree with it being banned or not, that's completely not what we're talking about right now. But the thing about this video that threw me off was, I'm watching this dude who had to be at least 85 years old explaining what the problem with TikTok is. And I'm like, dog, your cell phone probably has a rotary phone on it.
Man with a flip phone?
Yeah, like, you flip your phone up and have to, you know what I'm saying? Like, fam, you're not the one to be making these decisions, like, for real.
And the problem is, he is the one to be making.
Yeah, that's the exact problem. He is the one, because since 1865 he's been in that same seat. You know what I'm saying? Like, even today, I was thinking earlier, I was like, I was like just thinking to myself, like, why would they even want to be there for so long? Like you're going to be paid very well for the rest of your life. Why wouldn't you want to step back so you can enjoy that money? You know what I'm saying? But that's neither here nor there. People, I think corrupt people that have power want to hold on to it for as long as they can, and they'll do anything they can to make sure they keep it.
Yeah.
But that's another thing for another day.
Whole other
Um,
pod.
mhm.
But like you were saying, about how, especially in the black community, like you'll see thousands of people flood to the polls for the presidential election,
Mhm.
and then the very same, forget even the president, like, yeah, just November's presidential election, but as Lauren said, primaries, which is what's the most important to get us to November, ghost town. Like nobody's going
Yeah.
out, and that's because people just don't understand how it works.
Right.
And even I was fortunate enough to go to a school that was very like my elementary school, middle school, high school, where I went to school, like they were very into politics. So US history, all that was like drilled into our heads, and we learned Ledraffer and what that means. And thinking about it, it's like what's the very first one that you start with? Legislative. Like they don't teach you executive first, they teach you legislative branch.
Right.
Why? Because they're the ones with the power.
Yeah. They're the ones that make the laws.
They're the ones that make the
Yep.
laws. Executive branch is just the talking head.
Yep.
Yeah.
But we've been, it's
Conditioned.
made to like the executive branch really kind of is the scapegoat. And so regardless of how you feel about President Trump, all the blame is not on him. He cannot
Yeah.
do whatever he wants. It's not the way that our system is set up. So you have, him being the talking head. And of course, yes, he says a whole lot of stuff and you can't tell what's up from down. But when you go back to it, you have to go back to like what's really going on and really who are the ones doing it. So for everyone out there, I'm looking at you. Do you see me? You wondering about that second stimulus check and why we ain't get it? It's because you didn't go vote for the people in the legislative branch that were going
Yeah.
to give you money that you wanted. You
Yeah.
out there, if you're watching this, that's who you need to be targeting. It has nothing to do with President Trump. Yes, he put his name on those checks because he wanted it to look nice and pretty
Yo.
with his name, but he wasn't the
Pause.
one who
Pause
was
real
in
quick.
charge of the money we got.
Did y'all get the actual check?
No, I get direct
No,
deposit.
Lord. No, thank you. No, thank you very much.
Listen. Listen. I got that check. And I was looking forward to getting that check because I wanted to see just how big his name was going to be on that check. When I tell you, he used the fattest Sharpie he could find. It was like a kid, it was like a child using the fat crayon in kindergarten because it's easier to use and harder to break. Like he signed that thing like that joint looked like early 2000s Polo Unlimited. What was it Polo Association?
Oh, with the
Oh, you,
horse,
right. With the
when the
big.
horse is this
Yeah,
big.
you know what I'm saying? And just like kind of off to the side, like that thing looked like that thing looked like some early 2000s street fashion with his name kind of just sprawled across the bottom in super dark black ink. When I opened that when I opened that envelope, I promise you, I laughed, I laughed, I laughed. And then I went to the bank and I
Cash
deposited
that.
that joint as quickly
Right.
as possible. Because I was like, I don't want to keep seeing it. I need this money.
Yeah,
you know?
but despite all that, despite his super big kindergarten signature, everyone keeps being like, what is he doing? Why aren't we getting this? No, 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 no. It's not him. because
Yeah.
they sure did take their vacation. They sure did take
Mhm.
their recess,
And
despite
they're
the
still
fact that
taking their
people are
checks.
and they're still getting paid.
Yep.
But yet people are still being evicted. People are still hungry. So for people who don't find that a problem, then we need to vote them out and they need to have a seat in their house and vote just like us the next time around, because that shouldn't be how it is. But yet we don't take the time to look at who is saying what, who is trying to do what, who is saying, yes, let's give people more than just $1,200. What, like, I told somebody, like, the United States is a black parent when it comes to lunch money, like for school. You gonna take this here $10, and
Okay.
this is your lunch money for the week. Like,
Like
but
y'all got
mom, a
stimulus money?
sandwich. You said what?
Like y'all got stimulus money?
Y'all got exactly. Like, so that's it. When you watching, we got Canada and Europe and all them. We watching them. They're the ones who got the fancy school lunch, and their mama packed them the
Yo,
Lunchables with the gushers and the juice, the
the name
juice
brand
pack.
juice,
Right.
Yep.
not just
Yep.
orange, not just orange because of the color.
Yes. No. America's that parent that said, you gonna get what you get, and you gonna be grateful for it because I didn't have to give you this.
We had lunch with a bag of penny candy. knowing we ain't gonna get no dinner when we get home either.
Right.
Yep.
Like my
That's
lunch
us.
cost $1.
That's where we're at right now. But looking at it, and then also, I think going back to okay, the stuff that's being put up on Facebook and everything. If you don't understand what's going on, take 2 seconds. I know it's annoying, but just look at it. Like, look at what it's saying to try to help you figure out what's going on, because boy, like we don't want another 2020. We don't want another year where a pandemic is coming at us. Everything is saying a pandemic is coming at us. Everyone, the blind man, can see that a pandemic is about to hit us and tear us up, but we have people in office who don't care. Like, we don't. That's not what you want. So if you don't understand, find someone who understands and just ask them, can you help me understand this? Can you help me figure out what I'm supposed to be doing, where I'm supposed to be going? All of these little things, like in Massachusetts, the vote yes or no for question 1. What is that about? It's about whether or not the government gets to tell you where you take your car to get it fixed. So every black person needs to pay attention to that, because your cousin Pookie and them, who be fixing your brakes and stuff for you for free.
Yeah, you're gonna have to take it to the the dealership.
You gotta take it to the dealership. So these are things that we want to be paying attention to. We want to be looking at, but we don't know, because we don't take the time to know and to understand that it's more than just the president.
Yeah, and that actually takes me back to the second thing that I was going to bring up earlier, when you brought up methadone mile here in Massachusetts, here in Boston. Like, if I could be wrong, because I don't pay the closest attention to all the news all the time, but isn't a big part of the reason why a lot of them are there is because there was a rehab that was shut down?
Yep. So access to a rehab facility was shut down. So what happened is the bridge that connects is like a it. So the issue is it's called Long Island. It's technically Boston, but it goes through Quincy. They shut the bridge down, and I guess they were supposed to open it back up. But Quincy was like, nah, because we like not having them here. And they really, because like there's a rehab place over there where they used to all be and all that good stuff. But now that they're on actual methadone mile, there are methadone clinics, there are halfway houses, all this stuff. So they all kind of just gather around there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So my thing with bringing that up is if now, granted, if it was our mayor's decision to let it go the way that it's gone, I'm gonna throw him some bail. He may not have known how it was going to. All right, Chris, relax. just a little bit of bail, just a little bit, just a tinge. But he may not have known what the outcome could have been, to making the decision to just go ahead and shut that down. And now I believe it's just an empty space that no one can get to because like the bridge is broken or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Because the asylum, Arkham Asylum,
Arkham Asylum.
We're just gonna shut that down and everything will be fine. That's basically
Yo, all right. So using Arkham Asylum as a metaphor, that's what I was just about to say. Like, you can't close Arkham Asylum and expect a Joker not to run through your city.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But the point of what we're saying with that is, if we pay more attention to what's going on a local level, then we can put in the leadership that's going to handle that.
Yeah.
Whether it's doing whatever needs to be done to, open that space back up, or finding another space.
Yeah.
I know a lot of times you'll hear people complaining about, the lack of space to build anything or do anything in the city. But a big part of the reason why that's a problem now is because our mayor was more focused on, luxury housing and building up on every plot of land that he can to have, I think right down the street from here, where there was a very small one family house. They tore that house down in the garage and they put up, I think it's 14 units now.
It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was either going to be 14 units and it's 9, or it is 14 units and they had planned on more.
Listen, man.
But just think about that.
Listen, down the street from Methadone Mile, like a hop, skip, and a jump, are luxury apartments and condos.
Yep.
Like name brand luxury apartment and condos. Like, we all know Avalon.
That's right. It is. They are right over there. It's literally like right across the what is that called? The cross section of the streets.
Yep. It's right there. Like, and I don't know who wants to live there, first of all. And and I believe the mayor promised he's going to clean it up. That hasn't happened, because cleaning it up just means removing the people. And where are you going to put the people?
Yep.
Yeah.
And to go with what Chris was saying, extending beyond the mayor, because this is when you have to understand how the state reps play a part. Because like Chris said, the reason why it shut down is because of Quincy.
Yeah.
I was going to say Menino, but that's not his name. Walsh has nothing to do with fixing that. Now, he could a better job, yes, but at the same time, Quincy is their own beast. So if Quincy decides, that's it. Boston don't have say on what Quincy decides to do with Quincy.
Yeah, because the bridge is in Quincy, right?
Yeah, so the issue is the bridge goes through Quincy. It's the dumbest thing. Like, I don't understand.
So if Quincy says our airspace is our airspace and this is what we want to do with it,
right?
But you know who could do something?
Governor.
The state reps of Boston, and all the state reps of Boston working with the state reps of Quincy to get stuff done.
Yeah.
So the governor can't just come through and be like, "Yo, cut that out."
Yeah, I was like, I don't really think anybody listens to our governor.
I'm pretty sure the governor is like the president of the state.
He is.
Pretty much.
He's just a figurehead.
He is. No, actually, like no joke.
That's exactly how it works.
That is exactly what he is. He is the president of the state. And the states are set up the exact same way as federal.
That's why typically in the past, governors have become presidents because it's basically the same job.
It's
Oh yeah.
yeah. So you have and a lot of like the reps and stuff on a state level will just then go to Congress and go to federal
Right.
on the federal level because they know the job. They just did the baby version of it.
They were just on JV.
Yeah.
Much.
Yeah. Now they're trying to go to varsity. And that's what it is. So, you have like Ayana doing her thing. Why? Because she did it for the state. She
Yeah.
did it on a smaller level. And once she
Wait,
figured out
so
how it works, she's like, all right.
she's a state rep now, right?
She
Or she a
is
Congress?
Congresswoman.
Mm-hmm.
So she is. So there are the city councilors, and there is the like state Congress, and then there's the federal Congress. She's federal Congress.
Okay, and she was on the state level.
She was on the
before.
state level, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Sometimes I forget. Sometimes I forget where people are, but shout out to her because I like her.
She can do no wrong.
Yeah, she's needed. We need more of her, which is why it's important for people to go vote.
That's it.
So we can get more Ayanna Presley's.
Yeah. Ayanna Presley can do no wrong.
And needing people, run for stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, like unseat some of these like 40-year incumbents. It's people. I think there's people in their seats just because no one's running to oppose them. That's all it is.
But also be strategic, people. Like, again, working on a campaign, like, just because I think the thing I hate the most is like an incumbent is like, all right, I'm ready to retire. And then everyone floods the market, like, work together, get a plan, figure out who's the best person, because you're really shooting yourself in the foot if everyone's like, I'm gonna go. No, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Like,
but everybody wants to be that person. Everybody wants to be the man.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with everything. Nobody wants to come together and like actually plan it out. They just want to be the one to do it and just hope people vote for them.
Yeah, I remember and this is kind of so I wanted to actually what time is it? Okay, we got a little bit more time. I wanted to talk about what we can do as individuals in our communities. We kind of talked about, the churches, and we used your church as a what?
Just gonna pause for a second. Phoebe just said one of her senators in Iowa has been in office since she was in middle school.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem. I mean, I'll say that's a problem if nothing's being done, like nothing positive is being done.
Man.
No, I will go on the line and say it's a problem, period. I will say that because I am a strong believer in like generations grooming the next generation to take their place. And I think the reason why we have, some of the issues that we have, even though people are good at some aspects of it, we can go further if we let the next generation do what they're supposed to do. But what ends up happening, because unfortunately, government, church, it's all the same. You have people in their position, they're in their position so long, then they get out of touch with what's going on now, like what's happening now, but they're still trying to do it because they're like, well, this is what I was called to, this is who I am, not understanding that things are a season. You do it for your season, you move on. And because they're not grooming who's supposed to take their place in that season, you now get that backlog. And so then once you finally say, I'm giving you the baton, or cough, cough, you die, somebody else comes in and it's the same thing over again because it took them so long to get there. Now, instead of trying to work to groom the next person, they're like, well, I got to hurry up and do all the stuff that I've been wanting to do because it took me so long to get here. And so I think that's the same thing with government. I think that there's not a lot of, like engaging the future to take over and to pass the baton. Like it's more like I'm going to engage you so I can keep being
Yeah,
king.
it's
Not
more
like
job security.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so the thing is, right, and this is just me personally, the views of Chris that do not necessarily represent the views of the Link Media. Disclaimer, but I 100% believe in political term limits on every level. Like, fam, you just can't be there 30. Nothing's the same 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Even in social, nothing was the same 10 years, 5 years ago. Look at
Yeah.
how far social media has come. Like we got people who are out of touch, who think TikTok is just the app on their phone that tells them the time. Who like what I mean? It's just they're out of touch, man. And I really like I believe that you work, you do your time limit. If you get reelected, it's because you really put in that work.
Yeah.
But after that, after a certain amount of terms, you gotta go, fam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And going on that, I'll say it now, rest in peace to RBG.
Rest in peace.
But at the same time, I think it's a shame that we had to have that 80 something year old woman still holding this position
Like,
and the baton not being passed. Like
right.
it should not be like that. That is my grandmama. Like picture Nana trying to be the one to vote and say if something is ethically sound and a part of the Constitution. Like, is this supporting the Constitution? Like, sometimes you can't. Like,
listen, I love Nana Mosley. I love her. I love her just like I love my own grandmother. But nah.
Like, exactly. And so you are making this woman have to do this job for that many years. Like, there comes a time, like, we know what the Constitution is. We know, like, we know what is written. It's on paper. Like, you read it. So the younger generations, if we're doing our job and teaching them how to read, they can read. We have to do all this reading comprehension classes. They should be able to comprehend what the Constitution is saying and saying if something is constitutional or not, and if it's upholding our Constitution. So we shouldn't have to have these 80-something-year-old people still in place and have it where when this 80-something-year-old passes away, we're in a panic because we haven't done our job to put somebody in place that we know is going to do the job well, and scared because we don't know who the heck the president is going to nominate.
Right.
Because we don't know who's been being groomed. Like, that should.
Yeah.
That's all.
I can't help now that you've given me that visual of Nana on the Supreme Court. I'm like, it's real easy to picture because I've seen her in a choir robe mad times. And I'm pretty sure her choir had the kente cloth at one point in time.
That's funny.
So as cute as it would be to see little Nana Mosley
with the little gavel.
With a little gavel, I wouldn't want to see that. And for the record, for anyone that doesn't know me, I completely support term limits for everyone. When I was saying it's a problem if he's not doing the right thing, that was just with things the way that they are right now.
Yeah.
If there is someone that's in a position longer than they should be, if they are still being effective and they're still providing for the needs of the people that they serve, then I'm not going to be so quick to kick them out because I don't know who's coming next.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the next person coming in. Sorry, Phoebe just said term limits for everyone but Obama. Listen, I love the Obamas so much, but like I don't think anyone saw like his last few months or his last few days as president. That man was so ready to get up out of there.
Yeah.
That man was like, listen.
Especially seeing who they replaced him with. You're like,
oh yeah. Oh yeah. He was like, he was on some like, I'm gonna try my best to make sure y'all set up, but this on y'all. Mm-hmm. y'all put this dude here. You know what I'm saying? And I remember, because we still even hear it now. Like people like, we want Michelle Obama to be our president. I don't remember who he was being interviewed by, but President Obama said, even if she wanted to, I would not let her run. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you got it. You know what's up. Because all the crap that this country put her through just as a first lady, mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And he had to remain presidential. Mm-hmm. Like his biggest scandal, quote unquote scandal, was him wearing a tan suit. Do you know what kind of fire he would bring if he had no other job but to just sit back and support his wife as the president, and they start getting wild with her?
No, sir.
Yo, bet money he is going to go Southside Chicago all over Washington D.C. if that was happening.
No, sir. Mm-hmm.
So he was like, no, we're out, and they were definitely. As the world was burning, they were jet skiing in the ocean somewhere, in the middle of the ocean. They weren't even
Richard Branson. They were
like they weren't even. They were so far away from American territory. They were like, "Listen, we're gonna let y'all burn in the distance, just to see the glow."
No, not the glow. Listen. I'm in the glow. We're in it. Don't do that.
He was out. He was like, man, forget that boat. I'm on this jet ski. I'm going straight. Just catch me.
That's it. He was
that
out.
Just made me feel like the little kid, the pictures of the little kids at the window, like begging, like, please take me.
Right.
All you see is Barack's back on a jet ski.
That's it.
You in the middle of Kansas. Ain't no water around you, but you just see him on a jet ski, just going through the golden fields of wheat in his jet ski.
I mean, if you're in Kansas, you still mad. He's a Muslim, so that's the whole other thing.
Oh yeah. There was on some other stuff. Oh, but all right. So the point that I was gonna bring up, actually, what time is it? Because it's closer to the time. But so I wanted to talk a little bit about us as individuals. Mm-hmm. You know, impacting our community, and talking about term limits. One second. Excuse me. Talking about term limits, it reminded me of when Ariel and I were a part of this community group in Hyde Park. And I mean, I joined the group because, you know, like as a believer, I think it's important to serve your community. And as a Black man, you know, in most of like my churches in Dorchester, most of the serving opportunities that I've seen were in Dorchester and Roxbury. You know, Hyde Park, even though I've been here my entire life, it was really just, I sleep here. Everything else I do, all of my friends are in Dorchester and Roxbury, you know what I'm saying, or Mattapan. Like I'm always out. So when I started like having a desire to like serve more, and then I saw an opportunity come up in Hyde Park, I was like, well, shoot, like I'm here, you know, let me see what it's about. And it opened my eyes to a lot. It confirmed a lot. Some things I'm just not going to bring up right now, but it opened my eyes to a lot, and one of them being that was Ariel. Was he a city councilor? I forgot his name, but he was.
Tasha,
Yeah,
state rep.
state rep. So the state rep for our district or whatever it's called, he was in his position for like 40 years.
Yeah, he was the only state rep that I ever knew.
Yeah. And the thing is like when we were like, going to events or, talking to different people about, doing certain things like in our part of the city, like his name would always come up and some people would be like, oh, well, he's been opposing that forever. And then that's when it hit me. I was like, wait, I have been seeing this dude's name all over the place, like for a long time, but I didn't know who he was. And then once we met him, I was like, wait, like,
We're on Facebook, and I'm trying to be nice, Lawrence.
well, me too.
Well, that's kind of the title, guys.
Well,
Well, I'm trying to be nice too. That's why I kind of paused because it was like we met him, and I was like, wait a minute, this dude, like he's running things, and that was one of the crazy things, and that's one of the crazy things, or I should say that points to a crazy thing that I realized about serving. Like, in order for you to serve your community, you have to know your community. And a big part of the reason why Hyde Park was just a place that I always left was because I couldn't see myself in Hyde Park. You know what I'm saying? When I was in high school, and like when I was in high school and I got off the bus, I went straight to my house, which was like literally across the street from the bus stop. I didn't hang around anyone that lived in Hyde Park. I didn't play no games with no one. There were parts of Hyde Park that are close to my house that I wouldn't even go to by myself. You know what I'm saying? Because Boston has been a very racist city for most of my life.
Yeah.
And still now, I just don't go to certain places. So I don't experience it as much. But
you go to those places in Hyde Park now? Because I don't.
No. Oh, what was that place we saw leaving a meeting one night? It was like it was a Knights of something.
Oh, the Knights of Columbus?
Yeah. And I don't forgot the name of the place. Reedville. We was in Reedville in a meeting, and we were trying to find the location of this housing development that they were talking about. And it was late. I think it was like going on 10. And we pulled up, or we was like driving slow down the street, look up, saw this Knights of Columbus place that was like way back in the cut somewhere. We were like, yo, it's time to go home. It's time to be out.
I'm glad y'all made it out.
Yo, we was like, just go straight. We'll come back in the morning.
Chris,
some other day.
You watch Lovecraft Country?
No, not yet.
Oh, that was us. When you see episode 1, that was us. Like, just gotta make it. Just gotta make it.
Yeah. Yo, I drove out of there so fast without breaking the speed limit. But the thing that I had realized, because like I said, I didn't really see myself as a part of the community because everything I saw was older and white.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then so once I became a part of this community group, and I started looking, like I was put on to some resources that helped me to find information. Excuse me. And one of them was the demographics of Hyde Park in the area that we lived in. I realized that through the census that was taken, I think in
2010.
Yeah, because how many years is it between?
Years.
Okay, so yeah. So as of the 2010 census, Hyde Park looked more like me than it did anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it was like 70-something% Black or person of color. it was like 60 something percent male. And this was like maybe 3-4 years ago when I was looking at this.
And your comptroller don't look like you.
He probably don't. I don't even know what he looked like. Comptroller just in these streets. But even the age group, like the average age range was like 35, 36.
Yeah.
And I was like, so if Hyde Park like looks like me, why is Hyde Park shutting down at 8:30 at night?
Ooh,
Like
generous.
why?
You're so generous.
like there were times Ariel and I would leave meetings at like 9 o'clock and then have to drive either to like Fenway or like somewhere in Dorchester just to find something to eat, just to get it and then come right back to Hyde Park.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But a major part of why it was like that was because the people, one, there was no one to run against the Scotcher dude. He's, of course, out of there by now. I think the dude that's in there now is it Eric Arroyo?
No.
No.
Voting now.
What?
He just retired.
Was it Eric though? Or am I thinking of someone else?
It's Carvalho. Carvalho is.
Oh.
Did he win?
I don't remember. I wasn't expecting to go here, so I can't think of it off the top of my head.
All I know is the election is this November is when we find out who replaces Scotia, because he just retired, which is another thing, and I'm not going to get into it because it's going to remind me of the last election, and I'm just going to have PTSD.
Wait, no, but I thought Scotia left the last time they voted about this.
No, because that's when Shagun ran.
All I know is that old lady. All I know is that old lady that looked like Scotia, but like just a little bit younger, is running again.
Oh,
Gretchen?
gosh.
I wasn't trying to say her name. You know what I'm talking about.
You said it.
I just said the lady that looked like Scotia, just a little bit younger.
She looked like a man.
Carvalho is running and Gretchen is running, but I want to say Carvalho's in the lead or was in the lead. But I'm pretty sure somebody should have won, and shame on me for. I did look it up, but I couldn't because the whoever was going to be the Democratic nominee should have been picked in September, and I don't know who it is. So everyone out there, forgive me.
Okay, maybe that's what I was thinking of then.
I don't live in Hyde Park no more, so I don't know. I've been trying to pay attention, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's why it doesn't matter. But the point was, this dude was in his position for years. There was no one else running against him. Oh, that's right. He was the state rep. I was thinking of the other dude, the younger white dude.
Him too.
But he's not there anymore either.
He left.
Yeah, I mixed up their positions and when they left. But the fact still remains, you had dudes that didn't represent what the town became. They more so represented what it used to be. And they had no need to leave because there was no one going against them.
Yeah.
You know, and then also when there was people that went against them, the people that needed to vote weren't voting, because most of the people were doing the same thing that I was doing, living in Hyde Park, and then leaving to go do everything else. You know what I'm saying? Like being Black in Hyde Park is wild when you want to participate in some Black stuff, and you got to go to Dorchester to do it. Like, I think Zaz coming to Hyde Park and Wings and Things coming to Hyde Park brought some of the Blackness back.
Yo, Wings and Things, like they put one over by my job too, and that place is failing.
Listen,
Yo, I always think they're failing, and then they put another one up somewhere else.
yeah. I think the thing that used to boil boil my blood the most, or even talking about, how no one was running against them. I remember when the elections happened and going to a community meeting, one of the little, you know, one of the little neighborhood watch meetings is basically what
Mm-hmm.
it is. Um, and I remember when Counselor McCarthy, because that's who it was at the time, when he came in, and again, talking about people that you never see, like at least when you need to see them,
Wait,
came
was
to the
this
meeting.
was this when he made sure he shook my hand because we were like the only black people in the place?
Oh, that's
Probably,
funny.
but he came to the meeting just to say, y'all got me for another couple years. You voted me back in. I know you all haven't seen me, but I was in school. I was trying to get my master's. And I was like, sir, if you don't go sit down, because you just let us know how much you care about us. Like,
That's
thanks for
real.
voting me in again and giving me the money I need to better
Right.
me. I know I haven't been paying attention to y'all, but
Thank you for paying off my school loans.
exactly. But I graduated, so all right. And then that was it. And then was he there again? No. Now, of course, they have people who come and represent them and everything, but you halfway even see them. Like, where's your little lackey at? I ain't seen him in a minute.
Oh yeah, they wasn't around.
So, like, and
It
and
wasn't
those are the things
outside.
that would always get me upset and would always, boil my blood because again, it wasn't until, which brings me to my closing point before we end. I feel like I'm on CNN. Like we should have like the ticker at the bottom
Check at the
telling
bottom.
the sports score. But like something that I think is what I realized was I got a letter from Skasha, like a personal letter,
Oh
when I was
snap!
trying to do stuff and all these different things. I've talked to the people in his office, like Lauren said, while we were doing community organizing stuff, because I took the time to raise my voice for what mattered for my community. So when we're talking about community impact, like they always say the squeaky wheel gets the oil. Like
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
we got to make more noise. We got to do what we got to do so that they hear us and that they do what's right for us because it's we the people, not we the government.
Right.
Yeah.
So we need to do what we got to do. And even for myself, like I don't live in Massachusetts anymore and I know I got to get on the ball to get better acclimated with where I'm at and understanding my community because I'm here for a reason. Like I've been placed in Rhode Island not just for the fact that it's super cheap, but because I'm here for a reason. Like everywhere that you're planted, everywhere that you're there to make a difference. So I know I got to take the time to figure out, even though I don't want to, like, yeah, we don't like change, but look at what not liking change is not us. So
Yeah.
take the time, figure out who don't need to be there, who is doing a good job, and let them know. Let the people who aren't doing a good job know, and let the people who are doing a good job know, and continue to let your voice be heard.
Yeah.
I agree.
Was that your final words? Because
Yes.
we can go ahead and wrap it up now.
And
Uh,
vote. Vote.
oh yeah,
Definitely vote.
definitely. Chris, did you wanna
Vote. I'll say
do
it
you
one
wanna
more
say?
time. We don't got time for this. Vote. I'm done. All right.
Wait. Your microphone picks up that clearly from that far away from you.
Yeah.
That's a good mic. Mine sounds like trash, and it's right in front of my face.
That's hilarious. No, my mic is attached to my webcam.
Yeah, maybe I'll try that one. I technically have like 4 microphones connected to my computer.
It's hilarious.
All right, Chris, did you have anything you wanted to leave everyone with?
No, man, essentially same thing. Just vote. Know who represents you, and
Hmm.
vote based on whatever you value.
Yeah, yeah. My sentiments exactly. Um, there are plenty of ways that we can impact our communities as individuals. But there are, but a lot of times, through personal fears and anxieties and feelings, you may not feel comfortable going out and doing it on your own. But there are community groups, there are ministries. Even if you're not a member, even if you're not a member of that ministry, I'm pretty sure they will welcome any help that they can get. But there are usually resources around you that are doing the work that you're interested in doing. So definitely connect with them. You can go to usa.gov to register to vote. I believe it also has information on the candidates in your area that you can vote for. And Google is also your friend.
Google is
You
your
can,
friend, bro.
yeah, you can just go ahead and search a specific candidate, look at their website, see what they're talking about on there, find out where they're going to be speaking, what Zoom calls they're going to be on, and if you have questions, ask those questions. These people work for us. We do have to hold them, we have to hold their feet to the fire. No vote should just be given without any repercussion or any anything for us beyond just the opportunity to vote.
Mhm.
Thank you everyone that watched. I saw a couple people pop in and out watching, so thank you for checking it out. If you're watching this on a replay after, thank you for watching. Special shout out to Phoebe for joining in the conversation, and we will be back next week with something else. Oh, if you have any ideas for topics, anything you want us to talk about, or even if you want to hop on and participate in the conversation with us, go ahead and send us a DM, send us a message either on the link page or to any of us personally if you have our information, and we will get to it.
And tell a friend to like our page. We're trying to get to 1,000 likes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
the Link Media, like it, smash that like button.
Pew, 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 pew.
Do that to the like button.
and we'll see y'all next week.
All right.
Deuce.